Okay, can we stand for a pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Get a roll call, please. All here, okay. All right. We understand it. We're going to start tonight with the State of the County address by our County Executive, Jim Kreuser.
Good evening, Chairman Kubicki, Vice Chairwoman Brunig, County Clerk Mary Shook Krebs, other elected officials, members of the County Board, county employees, and citizens of Kenosha County. I am pleased to stand before you tonight and confirm what you already know from reading the various newspapers, driving around the area, and talking to our residents. The state of Kenosha County is strong. Exciting things are happening all over Kenosha County. This board established the High Impact Fund, which is being used to create jobs. We are committed to infrastructure, which leads to economic development, which leads to jobs. We are seeing the results of putting that infrastructure in place. It's finally spring in Kenosha County. I think it's still spring, right? Had all 2 days of it. You can see work on this building, the administration building, is underway. The exterior work will preserve it historically and ensure its use by the public for decades to come. We expect the work to be completed sometime in October, November of this calendar year. The ground is being broken for development across our community. It's being tilled in every township and many villages, and crops are being put in the land, in the ground. The Kenosha County Dairy Breakfast and Dairy Air Bike Ride are coming up. Farmers markets are starting. 4-H youth groups are already busy preparing for the county fair. Kenosha County is a growing, vibrant, family-friendly place to be. Those are among the things that developers and new residents say attracted them here. A good place to do business, strong infrastructure, quality of life, and a quality of place. We are strong because in Kenosha County government we have a collective vision to drive performance, to plan for our future, and to be fiscally responsible. This is not usually a place where things happen to us. This is a place where we make things happen and we try to improve the services we deliver every day. I remember this community came together, and it really came together in 1988 when the Kreuser assembly plant shut down. They continued to make engines after that, but the assembly plant shut down. And a transition team was started to move this county and community forward with economic development planning. We didn't have a benefactor. We had each other. And that strength of pulling together as a community made us stronger. We had a legislative delegation led by State Senator Joe Andrea, who pushed forward the utility holding company bill, which allowed the collaborative arrangement between the state, the county, and Pleasant Prairie to form Wispark. County had a significant role in Wispark. Not only do we support the legislation, that was 165 was County Highway Q. Highway Q was in the budget since the late 60s to be expanded and ran from Green Bay Road all the way to I-94. Well, I have to tell you, Lakeview Corporate Park was a tremendous success. Cornfield and soybeans were there, hunting grounds that many of you probably hunted on, turned into 10,000 jobs today. 3/4 of that park is now full. And now is the time to keep on the gas in our next turn for economic development. 26 years later, after 1988, the driest summer ever, when we put in Highway Q 165, Kenosha County is the economic development hotspot of the region, the state, and the nation. At a presentation before hundreds, Mike Mooney, a principal of MLG Capital, which has ties to the Lesage Group, stated that Kenosha County is in a world of its own regarding industrial development. He said that Kenosha County has been experiencing a greater rate of economic development than most of the state of Wisconsin, and that we're poised to have even a greater rate of development into the future. Our economic development partners at the Kenosha Area Business Alliance, with our economic development partners at the Kenosha Area Business Alliance, approximately 3,000 jobs, over $500 million of capital investment, and roughly 4 million square feet of new development or absorption has occurred in the past 18 months. That's in the past 18 months. So many of you who were on the board in 2008 remember how I came into office, the mayor and I flew down to Kentucky to Shelbyville. We decided to look at a place called Gordon Foods. I came back to the board and we debated it, and Joe Clark was chairman then. He's no pushover, that's for sure. And on the merits to build County Highway N and allow Gordon Foods to build there, transfer it to the city on its own merits, passed the return on investment test. Now we have Gordon Foods. Gordon Foods, we went out there and we looked at that corporation, and their corporate culture was awesome. And we said, we'd like to have you in our community. They came here and they said, we'd like to be in this community. They now have 270 people working there. Recently, they added 50 more people. They're starting a second shift. So I think that's a significant gain and a significant win for our community. But the other piece about Gordon Foods that many people in this room don't know, Gordon Foods has been one of the most philanthropic organizations with food to the Sharing Center in Trevor and to the Shalom Center here in town. They have given tons and tons, literally, of food to help feed lower income people and to keep those shelters going. So we thought that would attract development. We have Gordon Foods, and then off of Highway N, as many of you know, there were 3 or 4 other lots that we thought someday down the road, someone's going to be developed. It's all set up with sewer and water. The table is set. Somebody will make that happen. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that company would have, like Amazon, would have broken ground and brought its massive new fulfillment center, and they'll employ more than 1,600 full-time associates once operational. We set up the infrastructure, and the private sector made the business decision. The state of Kenosha County's business environment is very good. Other recent development highlights: Kenall Manufacturing, which designs and produces LED lighting systems, will soon be constructing a new state-of-the-art facility in Kenosha. And Niagara Bottling, LLC, the largest private label water bottling company in the United States, will be coming to Pleasant Prairie. Hats off to Pleasant Prairie. Since 1988, they've been carrying a lot of the load in this community, and they've really done a top-notch job in bringing those companies. Back to Mr. Mooney, giving his comments. Also, he said, when you look in the dictionary under location, 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 you see a picture of Kenosha County. Now, this is the guy who is a major principal in multiple development parks. But location alone does not tell you the Kenosha County story. That's just part of it. If you don't plan strategically, if you don't do the right things and keep doing the right things, and work with agencies like the Southeastern Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission, and if you don't have a strong infrastructure, and you don't have good public policy, location will only take you so far. Recently, this board adopted a big part of the Kenosha County planning strategically with the High Impact Fund. It has been critical for attracting and retaining businesses here in Kenosha County. This program has proved invaluable as an ultra flexible deal closing fund. We've decided to use that for manufacturing. $1.5 million of appropriated money was used thus far for 3 manufacturing projects. County Supervisor Bill Grady and I were just at a gathering the other morning where Wisconsin, by per capita, moved to #1 in the nation as a percent of their jobs, past Indiana, per capita. That's good to see, and it's because of our growth. And Kenosha County's been a big part of that. We spent $250,000 for Bradshaw Medical expansion, $250,000 for Hannah Cylinders, and $1 million for Kenall. The High Impact Fund has resulted in more than 800 new jobs with an average salary exceeding $52,000 a year. I don't know about you, but I think manufacturing jobs is when I grew up, everybody's father, mother made something. That kind of went away, and now it's kind of circling back. Manufacturing is an important part of the Wisconsin business climate, and we need to continue to stay focused on that. And in Kenosha County, the High Impact Fund has primarily been used for manufacturing. And there are pending projects, and there's some big announcements coming. One will be announced later this month. Let me assure you that the development activity in the project pipeline continue to be very robust. And we should not rest on our laurels. We should make hay while the sun shines, as John Steinbrink would say. I have to tell you, Todd Battle and his team are economic development rock stars. Where's Todd? Is Todd here? There's Todd. Thank you, Todd, for all your hard work. We are working with them to not just be ready to meet the needs of the new and incoming businesses, but to strategize, plan ahead, and do what is necessary to continue to attract developments county-wide. We need to be ready with infrastructure and more shovel-ready sites in our county. We'll be working on a plan to maximize our resources to get the best outcomes for all of Kenosha County, regardless of which municipality it lies in. As a result of the influx of the new jobs, our unemployment rate has gone down. Kenosha County's unemployment rate has fallen 5.5 percentage points from a peak of 12.9% in February 2010 to 7.3% in April 2014. Even with that drop, we know there are people out there who continue to struggle. We have unemployed, we have underemployed. We must and we will continue to hold the line on taxes. This board and this administration have taken that issue very seriously. We have proven a track record of fiscal responsibility. For example, in the last 3 budget years we adopted were the lowest 3 that Kenosha County has adopted in the last 25 years. The state of Kenosha County's fund balance is solid. We've made a lot of tough decisions, but in 2012, we met the county fund balance reserve goal of 17%. That goal hadn't been hit for many years. The county continued to improve its financial condition in 2013 when the fund balance increased by over $1 million to 19.7%. After the declines of the Great Recession, the county developed a recovery strategy that would put us on a path to achieving financial stability. The county wisely followed this strategy and was able to recover from the recession and achieve financial stability without imposing drastic reductions to service to our community and our citizens. Our department and division leaders, along with their employees, work every day to ensure top-notch service is given to the public. Here's one example. It was a tough winter, and no doubt about that, one of the worst many can believe and have seen. But we're among one of the few counties that did not run out of salt, and that's due to the good planning and preparation of our highway commissioner, Gary Sipsma, who's been with the county many, many years. Thank you, Gary. And many thanks to the men and women in our highway department who work tirelessly, because when we go back in home because it's too slippery, they go out and they work tirelessly to keep our 258 miles of trunk highways, 94 miles of state highway, and 12 miles of interstate safe this winter. Thank you to the highway department. And now they get to work on the potholes. Dennis Elverman alerted me that we received a semi-trailer full of crack filler material, and they'll be working on that in the next probably more than a few weeks. Thank you to Sheriff Dave Beth and the entire Sheriff's Department for keeping the county safe. We've had a good working relationship with the sheriff. One only has to look to a crisis situation that occurred last December 4th with the standoff situation off 19th Avenue. The collaboration between the KPD, Kenosha Police Department, and the Sheriff's Department was outstanding. They had a standoff, they had a school nearby, many hours. They kept the neighborhood safe and created a barrier between the neighborhood and the house where the shooter was. And they took a hairy situation and brought it to conclusion by bringing the bad guy out with no further shots fired, with no injuries. Sometimes we take for granted what the law enforcement does, but I can tell you their collaboration and working together crosses every border we have in this county when there's an emergency, and we're all better off for it. Keeping juvenile crime down is our summer youth employment program, overseen by our Children and Family Services and administered by the Boys and Girls Club of Kenosha. And recently, in talking to the Chief of Police, John Morrissey, he has said this is one of the best crime prevention investments this county could have ever made. Crime is down 23% in the city since 2008 while the population is growing. He attributes that reduction in part to the Summer Youth Employment Program. We will see the results of lower juvenile placements. We have seen a true reduction in juvenile crime as a result, and it is a program that we worked on together, and it's a program that works well. Also keeping the community safe is our health division. That great work was recognized this past November when they achieved accreditation through the Public Health Accreditation Board, becoming one of the first health departments in the nation to achieve national standards that foster effectiveness and promote continuous quality improvement. Congratulations, Cindy Johnson and your team. Speaking of health, our county employees are getting healthier. Our wellness initiative with Humana Vitality has resulted in 4% lower health claim costs overall, 12.5% lower claims for chronic conditions for a 2-year period for those participating. Our net savings on claims and indirect costs have been nearly $500,000 in 2013 over 2012. Our aging and disability services is reaching more people. They had an 8% increase in contacts in 2013 from 2012. That's more than 1,000 people a month, and that's a good thing. It's a great thing. When people who are getting on in years are able to call somewhere to find out where to get help, what are the best practices, what are the things they should be doing, and when we have children looking after parents and for the first time having to ask those questions and to have that information available is a wonderful gift in this community. And they continue to do a great job. Crisis intervention training, the intensive 4-day training for law enforcement continues on. It's to diffuse crisis situations involving people with mental illness and that has trained over 110 law enforcement people to date. We need to work hard and to work smart in the area of mental health. And the specialized treatment courts are continuing to show good results. The drug court had 42 referrals, and 12 of those were accepted in 2013, and the new behavioral treatment court, launched this past August, ended this year with 11 participants. Our county nursing home, Brookside Care Center, a 5-star facility, and was again voted the best nursing home in Kenosha County. You here made that happen by adopting the needed changes we needed to do within our nursing home to make that the best that it is. Brookside employees work every day making the lives of those residents better. In 2013, 488 Kenosha County citizens were admitted and served by Brookside, many in the rehabilitation area. That is an all-time high for admissions into Brookside. That's outstanding, and if our nursing home is going to remain the best for our residents and in the black, we must plan for the future. The rehabilitation area needs to be expanded. We are exploring all possible options, and I promise you, you will see some information in the coming months on that issue, and I want to thank Chairman Kubicki for his been very supportive of us continuing that analysis. Our IT division has been a critical partner at the table for our discussions and about how to improve and streamline county services. Investment in IT has and will continue to show great returns on efficiency, cost effectiveness, and accountability. During this past year, we have completed many projects and many technology-related projects, including but not limited to upgrades in the critical county services such as the medical services at Brookside. For the district attorney's office, implemented automated notification system providing court date reminders. Completed the scanning over 500,000 documents for the Register of Deeds office for online access. In the remainder of the year, future initiatives include improving physical security at county buildings, in particular our complex downtown, by installing security cameras. Adding important resident services such as free Wi-Fi in some of our county parks. Streamlining benefit enrollment for county employees with a web-based self-service tool. We know that technology enables business. Technology enables education, and technology enhances public safety. We in Kenosha County are investing in these technologies to secure the present and to plan for our future. As we plan strategically as a county, we are also working with the United Way of Kenosha County and the Kenosha Area Business Alliance to continue our Foresight 2020 community conversation. That's an ongoing community conversation dedicated to the creation of a collective vision for our county. A follow-up meeting will be held in June with leaders from business, government, education, and nonprofit community to continue this purposeful dialogue about how we can enhance collaboration to address complex issues and help Kenosha County to realize more of its untapped potential. If there is one thing all of us in this room can agree on, and there's many, but if there's one thing, it's that this county is special. It's unique, and we are in a very special period of time in this window coming out of the recession. Business developers see it, new residents see it, and they know it. And we are the biggest small town in Wisconsin, and this is where people and businesses want to be. We need to continue to plan for Kenosha County's very bright future. We need to continue to be visionaries to ensure that this is the place where people want to live and that businesses want to call home. We will continue to work together on that goal. We will do it the smart way. We will do it by using our resources wisely and being aware of the return on investments. The future of Kenosha County looks bright. The state of Kenosha County is strong. The state of our fund balance is solid. The state of our economic development is robust. And I look forward to working together on making Kenosha County even better. God bless America, and may God bless Kenosha County. Thank you.
Okay, we'll continue with county business. We have 21 supervisors in attendance. Supervisors Anita Johnson and Daniel Esposito have been excused. Citizen comments. State your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Dan Campion. I live at 11303 232nd Avenue in Freeburg. Every year, or every 2 years, I introduce myself to the county board, especially for the new members. I'm the county liaison for the Salem Town Board, and I come to as many meetings as possible, especially if it has something to do with the town of Salem. In the town of Salem, I just want to dovetail a little bit to what the county executive stated, is that we also see economic growth in our region. Right now, we have one housing development that is getting close to 50% occupancy. We have a second that is just now coming online, which is an additional 45 one-acre home sites. So we are seeing some robust activity in the town of Salem. Infrastructure. In the infrastructure, last year we started a $3 million road resurfacing project. Because we were very smart with our expenditures, we exceeded the number of miles that we originally planned. Originally we had over 9 miles that was under planning. We're going to end up close to 14 miles. And by doing so, we continue to strengthen the infrastructure of the town. We also have a project that's approximately $2.8 million that's to redo our utility district. It's over 25 years old, it needs to be upgraded, and we see additional growth in our town, so therefore we're investing into that future. We're not leaving existing areas unavailable. The area that's in Salem itself is called Salem Oaks, is an older development and has had tremendous problems with water. We're investing about $800,000 in order to change that area so that we can retain the water in retention type ponds that eventually drain out into the Hooker Lake. So the town of Salem is really investing into itself. We've had limited increase in taxes over the last 5 years, and we're still trying to keep within our own means. What I also want to add is that we see additional growth on the economic side. Therefore, earlier this year, the electors in the town of Salem authorized the town board to purchase property solely for the interest of economic development. We did. We bought 40 acres in Highway C with the sole purpose of having it for economic development. So we are going to be looking forward to expanding the economic base within our town and help supplement some of the taxes so that our electors and residents no longer have to have the sole burden upon them. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to speak to you afterwards, but thank you very much.
Any other citizens wishing to speak? Any other citizens wishing to speak? Any other citizens wishing to speak? Citizen comments is closed. Announcements to the chair, I do have a few. I want to thank County Executive Jim Kreuser and his leadership for this county and the bright future that we have ahead of us. Thank you. I'd also like to take a time to say a few words about former supervisor that passed away this past month. Supervisor Robert Carbone was not only my mentor when I first was elected to this county board in 2006, but he was also my principal at St. Joseph's High School when I attended there. Bob was appointed to the board in 1987 when Supervisor Ron Frederick was elected to the position of Kenosha County Treasurer. Bob served in many capacities on this board for over a 20-year span. He was on the Administrative Committee and served as the Chairman of Judiciary and Law before he became Chairman of this board in 1994. Following his term as Chairman in 1996, he was appointed Chairman of Finance, where he served for the next 12 years until his retirement in 2008. Bob was a great asset to this board and to our community, and he will be greatly missed by all of us. The words he lived by were this: a man should not be judged by the money he amasses or the job he attains, but rather what he has done to make life better for his fellow man. I think we should all learn to live by this creed and take a lesson from Mr. Carbone. Would you all join me in a moment of silence, please? Thank you. Some other announcements I do have. We do have some openings for our WCA conference, which is in September 14th, 15th, 16th. Please contact the county clerk if you are wishing to attend. Our next IT training for our tablet devices will be June 3rd in these chambers at 6 o'clock. You can seek other training by calling IT directly and dealing with them on an individual basis if you wish between now and that time. They'll be happy to work with you. Also, I'd like to mention that if anybody wishes to take a tour of our Brookside Care Center, they can do that by contacting phone number 653-3800 and setting up an appointment, and someone will be gladly take you around our center there to be more familiar with that center. And I realize we do have some new supervisors. They might take advantage of doing that. We'll move on to Supervisor Reports. Supervisor Overman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last evening we had our first committee meeting with the newly appointed committee and said goodbye to our youth and governance that had been with us for the past year. Looking forward to our new group. Briefly, we went through a lot of items, but what I'd like to report on this evening. Facilities, we will be bringing an offer to purchase for the Ewell House to the county board at our May 20th meeting, I believe. We had, after over a year of having the building on the open market, we had 3 offers. Recently, the committee last night unanimously approved one offer. I'll tell you that one offer was for $100,000, one was for a land contract, and a solid cash offer was the one we accepted for $265,000. So, full county board will have the chance to approve that. As we can all see with facilities, we're sitting in construction zone, and the county executive reported as to when that'll be finished, and since we're probably in control of this one, you can count on those dates. The 60th Street Tower that I've been reporting on, anybody that reads the paper knows that we're off on that again. We aren't going to be March. Hopefully we're going to be this year yet, but now we're into June to where that tower will be online. Some good news from the Highway Department from the state. If you remember my reporting the last 2 years, the state had reduced us down to 1 mowing per year on state highways. County executive mentioned us being the gateway to Wisconsin, and for all states, I think good news is that the state is looking at that again, and actually what's in the lineup right now for this year is possibly 9 mowings, so we'll see a drastic increase in what we will be able to do along the state roads and along the interstate. In parks, naturally they're becoming quite busy. The new bike trails in Fox River Park are a huge success. And the golf operation is just getting going, and we've had, unfortunately, some very off weather for them. They got off to a meager start, and we all know it's weather-related. We had this last year, and we ended up in positive territory at the end of the year, so we can look for the long haul there. So that's it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Overman. Supervisor Hallman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Human Services Committee met yesterday on May 5th at 6:32 in the evening. We had 2 agenda items. Our first was a new appointment to the Aging and Disability Resource Center Board. That should be on our next county board agenda. Yesterday, we also covered the county 2014 health rankings, which probably doesn't necessarily sound all that exciting or important, but nationwide, it's something that's definitely much talked about at NACO. As we all know, healthcare issues can impact household budgets, business budgets, and communities. So whatever we can do to help keep our communities healthy saves us money and allows folks to be able to make other priorities financially. We also covered in the committee a couple of housekeeping items, just proper committee procedure. Want to let everyone know that the Youth and Governance, the next crop of Youth and Governance, will be touring our county facilities, meeting with our division heads and our administrators. That includes Human Services. All of our division administrators will be present. If there are any county supervisors who would like to participate in that, they may. Sharon Davis said she's more than happy to have folks come through. Also, this is also open to all county supervisors. Human Services, with the state and federal programs that we as Kenosha County administer, files a number of reports to the state and federal government about statistics, outcomes, metrics, those sorts of things. If there's any county supervisor who has questions about those or wants to review those, sit down with staff, look over them him or herself, the Human Services Department has said they are completely open to do that. The only thing that I might suggest is you might want to call ahead so that you're not sitting there while they dig through a computer for a half hour trying to get you what it is that you need. Additionally, for our committee, it appears that we have all decided to go digital. It's a little bit bigger than just being paperless, which is very, very exciting. I think particularly in terms of our committee, there is background information from the state and the feds. Sometimes a supervisor will have a question in committee, and it's very easy for me to find something and get something that addresses their question that may be part of the discussion, as opposed to having to wait until someone goes home and checks email. So for my committee members who've decided to do this, thank you. It's going to make things a lot easier. Just a couple of things from the Human Services Committee that also pertain to the entire board. I had a conversation yesterday with our Job Center manager, Mr. Doug Bartz. He has an economic impact study that he is the author of. I know it's being presented to the Southeast Wisconsin Workforce Development Area, which is Kenosha, Racine, and Walworth counties. They usually meet in the mornings, I think on a quarterly basis, if I'm not mistaken. His impact study is particularly important because it deals with our work with CABA and recruiting companies to come here, and some of the ones that have decided to just genuinely locate here and create jobs in a sense from the ground up, and what that picture looks like for our community. It takes us past the conversations that we've heard about how many dollars of investment, and lets us see some of those other things that might be going on that we don't hear about on the surface. So I will let the board know when Mr. Bartz is going to come to Human Services and present that information. I think that's something that we in particular should all pay close attention to and be aware of. Additionally, we've been doing a monthly update from Human Services. This was started because in the past, county supervisors felt that we were approving grants and not hearing what the status of those grants were. That once they're approved, department got the money, said program went into effect, and we didn't hear anything really until the end of the program. That was started so that we could get updates about the progress of those things, so that we were still in the loop about what was going on. The redesign is a request I've made to the department because each month the content was slightly different. There wasn't anything standard that we could look to. So for example, one month you might have something on unemployment numbers, the next month might be food stamps, the following month after that might be numbers of folks in child protective services. It was, very, very haphazard. So what the goal here is, I'm going to sit down and do a review of the state and federal programs that we administer, try to find what we can get on a consistent basis to make it more useful to county supervisors, because I think there's definitely some numbers we should all know off the top of our head. And secondly, to make it useful to folks on the city council and our town and village boards. And I think that's particularly relevant in the case of the city. They're having some conversations now about a homeless shelter, and some of them don't necessarily understand the role of Kenosha County Human Services and what it is that we do and how we function. So you may see some of that design of our monthly update geared towards them, and possibly even a briefing of the aldermen about our operations so they have an understanding of what it is that we do in the very near future. Beyond that, the only thing I want to mention is a personal note. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for deciding to go into a little further into the 21st century with the tablets. Thank you to the Vice Chair for not letting this go, and to the County Executive and our IT department for agreeing to do this. And to those of you supervisors who've decided to take this on, this is fantastic. Technology, in terms of governance, is what people who are looking to have startups to locate in communities. They want to know that we've made a public commitment to utilizing technology and trying to understand it to the best of our ability. And that's how you can recruit new jobs of the 21st century, and this is one of the foundational steps in terms of doing that. And we can go a lot further, but it's nice that we can at least get our toe in the water. Let's see if maybe by the end of this year we can be up to the kneecap. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holland. Any other supervisor reports? I see none. County executive appointments. County Clerk.
Edna Highland to serve on the Brookside Board of Trustees.
Refer to Human Service Committee.
Dr. Margaret Regner Hodge to serve on the Kenosha County Board of Health.
Refer to Human Service Committee.
Mark Midori to serve on the Kenosha Joint Services Board.
Refer to Judiciary and Law Committee.
Captain Edo Makari to serve on the Kenosha County Traffic Safety Commission.
Refer to Public Works and Facilities Committee.
Ordinance first reading to required from Chairman Kubicki regarding amendment of Municipal Code of Kenosha County, Section 2.05, County Board Standing Committees.
Refer to Executive Committee.
Approval of the minutes from the April 15th and April 17th minutes by Supervisor Brunig.
Supervisor Bruning.
Move to approve the minutes of April 15th and 17th.
It's been moved by Vice Chair Bruning to approve the minutes. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn? Seconded?
Second.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you.